Folks, welcome back. My name is Rudy. You're watching Alpha Investments. As people keep messaging me on different Magic the Gathering products to do updates on over the last few years, today we're going to our first conversation of a master set. Yes, folks, the infamous Commander Masters that came out with a lot of excitement upon release was not well received, and prices started to erode. And then we had the typical panic and emotional dump so that stores could recoup their capital to move on to the next hype train Magic the Gathering set. So as we look at Commander Masters, we're going to look at the set, the collector, and obviously the draft. This had three versions. Let's start with Commander Master set. Store costs of these things were like $320 to $340 a piece at the beginning. It was disastrous. I did not actually carry that product. I warned everybody against the downside potential because Wizards set the bar so high. The market's ability to hold versus repricing that lower just didn't look good. So in the drawdown crash in the last 2 years, which I guess for Commander Masters the last year, it did end up hitting a low of about 200 and about 250, 260 a box, which if a store paid 330, 340, that's pretty bad. Following up now in February of 2024, it's been almost a year. So let's just round it up to a year. We hit a low of 250s on the set box, and set boxes as they're filming this are about 325. Not including tax or shipping. Let's just call it a raw 325. Obviously, when you actually check out, it'll bump you to about 340. But let's just say 325 plus fees. That's a pretty big recovery. If you look at how much damage and what all the issues that we went through in this 2-year crash, bear market, Magic 30, the whole everything that happened, that's really impressive for a company that's leaning into secret layers, reprinting all modern singles into game pieces, and then actually having a master set built around reprinting game pieces have that kind of strength. It's kind of impressive. It's not amazing, but it's impressive that set boxes recovered as quick as they did. Draft boxes, same similar percentage. Came out, draw down about 20%. It's recovered that, and it's back to where it was. Not really much difference compared to the set. Now, the collector boxes are a little interesting. Collector boxes was the one on this master set, similar to the VIP packs. There's only 4 little packs in a collector box of Commander Masters, okay? What's crazy about it is we saw the prices around $210 for a little collector box at release. According to patrons who sent me this message, wanted me to make a video, I was selling my Commander Masters collector boxes for the 180s, 190s, and they did sell out. And then after release, we went from that $200 Commander Masters collectors, we hit a low of about $170. So we had a standard 15% drawdown, and again, the internet, the social media, and everybody stated that Commander Masters collector boxes with only 4 packs would only be desirable and would only be a buy if the boxes dropped to like $99, $100, and it never happened. The lowest we saw on TCG Player for Commander Masters collectors was at release, 200 plus tax, so about 210 shipped. And we hit a low of about 170. Let's just call it 170. I think the low was like 177. But let's call it 170. Maybe a little order trickled through. It was 170 plus tax. So we hit a low of about 185 shipped with taxes and shipping. That's impressive. It's really, really shocking that the only drawdown on a reprint set based around game pieces never really went lower than that. But if you Google Commander Masters release and collapse and problems and failures, and if you Google and research all that, you look back right now in the last year of what happened from a year ago, you would think these things were dollar store clearance. You would think every card in the set's like a 25-cent game piece. And it's truly a fascinating thing to see today that, oh my God, they're back to the release. They're literally, it's not even been a year, and it's like $195 plus tax. These things are back to almost $210 shipped on TCG Player. It's kind of an impressive thing. That's kind of my point of bringing it up is I didn't see it coming. I thought the pricing would stay flat. I didn't expect a quick 10-20% jump on the reprint sets because we're still very deep into the secret lair game piece kind of era of Magic and Hasbro. Now, seeing the recoveries of standard Magic sets in looking at opportunities and all that, the state like the Kamigawa, Streets of Buried Manilows, Adventure of Forgotten Realms, the Strixhavens. When you look at all these different, even the more modern, I guess what, Phyrexia would be 69, March of the Stepmoms. What are the newer ones? Should we go real new? And again, we know the brand new, but when you look at some of these things, Brothers War, Dominar United, those I'm not surprised about. Standard sets behave very different than a specialty set. Because when you talk about master products, these whole products are built only around reprinting game pieces. And those are going to be the weakest items in a modern game piece era. Because if that's Wizards' direction, these are going to be considered the weakest link, right? But it's just impressive. It really is impressive. Now, some of you all out there and some of my patrons messaged me saying, Rudy, my opinion before we make the video on it, at least give you your opinion. A lot of people believe the reason we're seeing this is because Wizards is doing 0 master sets for 2024. They're doing like a skip year, kind of a little leap year, a little skip year. Actually, I think this is a leap year. Is there a February 29th? There might be. And a lot of people think that the fact that they backed away from master sets this year, that it's allowing a lot of them to recover. Because when you look back at any master set, original OG, Modern Masters 2013, it was just called Modern Masters. And if you look at Modern Masters 2015, 2017, Ultimate Masters, Iconic, M25, all the way to the Double Masters 2, Quad Masters. When you look at all of them across the board, most of them are down between 30-40% from their all-time highs. Now, some of them got really high. Like Ultimate Masters was like $600 at the peak. So to see Ultimate Masters go from like $600 to like $400 to $500 is probably where it should be. Now to see it, maybe some people fire selling some Ultimate Masters for like the $300s, it's a little interesting. Because expected value of some of these things, especially if we continue to get some of these game pieces in modern era singles, if they start to kind of reinflate back to older prices before the collapse, a lot of boxes are going to start getting inverted EV. And that brings me to the final part of this video. I believe the reason we're seeing a lot of this same uptick line is we are seeing money return to Magic the Gathering. That's really the most basic, fundamental principle of why we're seeing all the charts kind of curl upwards, okay? A lot of money that chased, let's say, newer card games, maybe a Kickstarter card game, or maybe a GoFundMe for Rudy's hair, I don't know. Or, I think we're seeing some of, not a lot, don't overdo it, don't take it out of context, but we're seeing the early signs of some smart money move back in. Because there's certain products that even I didn't think was going to recover at this rate of speed. In today's conversation around Commander Masters, especially the collector boxes, which were deemed the weakest was the set. And then collector boxes were deemed the draft boxes were deemed the best for Commander Masters. It's really a wild thing that it happened this quickly. I'm not surprised that it happened. I'm surprised that it happened in Q1 of 2024. I thought we would be discussing upticks in pricing maybe in 25, maybe in 2026. I thought it would take a lot longer. We have some other videos coming up also discussing like the Unfinity, the unsets, with Shocklands and all the game pieces. Unsets lean on fancy basic lands and Shocklands, and unsets. There's some interesting dynamics there. And then the Baldur's Gate situation. Everyone's like, well, Rudy, what's going on with Baldur's Gate? How on earth are Baldur's Gate? Have you seen Baldur's Gate set and draft box on TCG Player? Both of them are about to break above 100 before tax and shipping. Like, the all-time high was $100 a box on these at release. Yeah. So we have interesting movements in all sets. So that's the important takeaway here, ladies and gentlemen. We see all Magic sets across the board moving up in price right now. Okay? So it's not isolated to a single thing. I know people, Rudy, if you knew how to play Magic, and if you knew about the standard, the meta, and the gamma, and the beta, and the alphas, and all the thetas, if you knew about the Greeks in Magic, you would understand why. I agree with you to an extent, but when you have overall a net inflow of money and people buying sealed boxes and the singles, that would be more accurate if every set wasn't doing the same thing. Like if only 2 standard sets, like, I don't know, Dominar United and, I don't know, Streets of Buried Manilows, if only those 2 sets were the only sets that went up and everything else was flat, that would make a lot of sense. But that doesn't make a lot of sense if you have an entire across the board of every box moving in conjunction and all having similar percentage swings. But we're seeing this also. Like, look at the new Flesh and Blood stuff with heavy hitters. It's not Crash Below Mat. Supply and distribution is very tight. And actually, somebody told me that I think they're still sold out. We're not seeing a collapse in that. You're seeing a lot of strength in the singles buying on Flesh and Blood's new set. And let's look at Pokemon, okay? Look at Pokemon. All the Scarlet Violet, they're supposed to be garbage, across the board. I already pulled down to the page. I'm not even selling Mr. P anymore. I'm not even selling Obsidian Flames anymore. Like, I pulled them all down. That's it. Both of those things are over $100 a box, and there's no more restock reprints coming. And I'm telling you all right now, the Scarlet Violet, the base, the Mr. P, Obsidian, Paradox is still too new to know. And with this new temporal coming out, with the print run reductions, everybody wrote off Scarlet Violet Pokemon, and now we're seeing Pokemon Scarlet Violet era starting to reprice, and markets adjusting right now. So we're seeing it with new Magic. We're seeing it with the Flesh and Blood set. We're seeing it now with Pokemon, the whole new block. And of course, we're like 35 days away maybe from Rudy's infamous final wave of Sorcery in the beta buy. Sorcery beta is still holding around that $200 on TCG Player. And, I'll reveal the promo, and we got a new playmat. And yes, I'll have pictures, and we're going to make sure it shows up. And yes, folks, the missing playmats, I still have the spreadsheet, and hopefully those are here in a couple of weeks also, so we can I have the original spreadsheet of all the names and tracking, so we should be able to get that done. Should be about 45 days on that, assuming they actually show up and they provide a picture and it actually doesn't disappear again. So when we look at all these things, it's not isolated to any single card game. I'm not going to mention Lorcana too much because, set 2 and 3 of Lorcana are a lot more stable. We're not seeing $500 Lorcana boxes anymore. It's a lot more stable. Print runs have gone way up. People are happy with it, and that's great. I'm still not carrying it, so there you go. One Piece is just so insanely red hot. I don't have any for sale, but for those of you still looking to buy them on TCG Player, buying from other LGS, just be careful because we don't know the exact supply in the future if they're going to ramp up the print runs. I don't have any left, and I'm hoping I can get some more. And I can run a sale and do some box openings and sell One Piece, but I just don't have any. I've only ran 2 One Piece sales in the last year or so, and they sell out in like 5 minutes, and then that's it. And everybody's upset because there's not enough. But just be careful because some of those One Piece prices are just absolutely wild, like just insane. So just be careful on that. I think that's everything, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching today, and this video is brought to you by Commander Masters and the Collector Boxes. And it's brought to you by patrons and viewers like you all. I appreciate you all for watching and the views. We're running on year 9 on YouTube, by the way. 8 years on Patreon and 9 years on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. And thanks for the support. Thanks for the views. Especially for the last year or so. We've just been through this annihilating, nasty market where everybody hated each other. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of good times, a lot of bad times, a lot of losses, a lot of good making money. It's nice to finally see upticks and stability again after going through so much. Every product just comes out and tanks. It's just brutal. So it's nice to finally see a different era right now. So it's should be a lot of fun to this year. Hope you guys have a great day.